What's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia, back with another waiver wire video for Week 10 in Major League Baseball. Can you believe it? 10? We made it this far. I'm so proud of us, and thank you for taking the journey with us here at FantasyPros MLB. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and click that little bell till it goes ding for notifications. And by the way, if you drop a comment below and you're a subscriber, you just might win a free premium upgrade to FantasyPros, so go ahead and do that. And speaking of amazing deals, how about the one we've got going with So Rare MLB? So if you like fantasy baseball, if you like digital cards, if you like fun, head over to fantasypros.com/collect to sign up today. You build and you manage your fantasy baseball team like a pro. And again, you can scout, buy, sell, and compete with other player cards each and every single week. And you actually own your cards. So win or lose, your cards are always your cards. That's the way life should be. So sign up today for free, fantasypros.com/collect, and take your baseball experience to the next level with So Rare MLB. And while you're at it, you might as well join our league too, fantasypros.com/leading-off-league. So without further ado, let's get to the names of Major League Baseball to add this week, Week 10. I know it sounds crazy, but we're here. Let's get after it. Let's kick things off in a big way this week with a big prospect. That's Elly De La Cruz of the Cincinnati Reds, shortstop rostered in almost 60% of leagues, so you better get on this one, okay? Do it as soon as you can, and if you have weekly waivers, well, guess what? It's time to open up the purse strings because this guy is going to be a difference maker. So far at AAA this year, Elly De La Cruz has 11 homers, 33 RBI, and also 11 steals. He's hitting an incredible 304, 401 OBP, 659 slugging with a 1061 OPS. That's the stuff dreams are made of, boys and girls. So you want to add Elly De La Cruz because it's only a matter of time before the Cincinnati Reds do. Elly De La Cruz really has nothing left to prove at AAA. He is still young. We know this, just 21 years old. He just can get a beer to celebrate if he does get the big call up, but the potential for him the rest of the season to make a big fantasy impact is there. It's there in points leagues. It's there in roto leagues. Yes, he still strikes out a little bit too much. That's okay. We will take the power and the speed combination, and we will take all the talent. It'll be very easy for the Reds to move some other pieces around to make room for Elly De La Cruz, and so far, if the rumors are true, he is going to be up sooner than later. So be aggressive, get Elly De La Cruz, and hopefully this guy can be a potential league winner in 2023. Next up on the list is a second chance for Jake McCarthy, outfielder for the Arizona Diamondbacks, rostered in about 40% of leagues. So the beginning of the season for Jake McCarthy did not go very well. He basically found himself hitting under 200 in his first 22 games and looked nothing like the player we saw at the end of 2022. However, it looks like he's righted the ship because when he got sent down to AAA, yes, I know it's the PCL, but still, he hit 333 with a 419 OBP and a 533 slugging, not to mention a 952 OPS with 4 bombs and 17 homers. He also stole 4 bases. So what you like about McCarthy is the fact that he has that stolen base capability, and he also has got a little pop to go along with it. Now, since he's been recalled by the D-backs, in his first 6 games, he's got 4 RBI, he's only struck out 3 times, has 2 walks, and 5 stolen bases. That's where I count him, 5. That's almost a steal per game. He's hitting 400. Now, that's not going to last either. But the whole point is something was off with Jake McCarthy, and it seems like the Diamondbacks organization has got him back on track. With all the injuries we've had in the outfield in the last few weeks, including Cedric Mullins, this could be a really good opportunity to pick up McCarthy for just a few bucks, plug him into your lineup, and see if you can fill that void that a guy like Mullins has left with the pop and the speed, and maybe a better batting average to boot. So it's time to give Jake McCarthy a second chance, so find it in your hearts and find him on your waiver wire and add him to your team in Week 10. Let's head back to Cincinnati for another addition for our Week 10 waiver wire, and it's starting pitcher Ben Lively of the Reds, rostered in about 25% of leagues. So Ben Lively has had a good little run here, and it's very quiet because the Reds are still a team that, frankly, flies under the radar. Over his last 3 outings, the 31-year-old has a 2.08 ERA, a 9.2 whip, and 22 Ks. There's just 5 walks in his last 17 innings. So the trick is, can he sustain anything close to this over a long period of time? That's kind of an unknown. The good part is he's probably not going to cost you much to find out, and we always need to add starting pitching as often as we can. Ben Lively is not a prospect. He's 31 years old. He's had injuries. He's had all kinds of issues. But if he's kind of found himself later in his career and he could just stay hot for another half a dozen starts, who knows how helpful that could be by the time you look up at the end of your standings. So once again, just like McCarthy, spend a few bucks on Ben Lively, see if you can keep this trend going, because if he can, he could be an asset, and who knows, he might even become a trade chip if he does it for 2 straight months, and you can get out of the Ben Lively business. But he got to get into the business first. So try to add him this week. See if you can work him into the rotation, because so far so good when it comes to Ben Lively for the Cincinnati Reds. Let's add some power in Week 10. Nolan Jones of the Colorado Rockies, outfielder, rostered in about 25% of leagues. Now, here you go. Nolan Jones is a player that really has nothing left to prove at AAA. He hit .356 there with a .481 OBP, a .711 slugging. That is a big gulp of slugging, boys and girls, and an .1193 OPS. He also had 12 bombs, 42 RBI. He stole 5 bases for good measure, and he also scored 38 runs in 39 games. He probably even calls his mom on the weekends. He is that good of a boy. But Nolan Jones so far finally got the call up, and he's looked okay, hitting .267 over his first 5 games. He's already popped his first big league home run. Super exciting there on that front. It's a matter of playing time and leaving the kid alone. Are there going to be ups and downs? Yes. Does he take too many pitches sometimes? You can argue that, but he did have 33 walks in 39 games, despite the high strikeout total too. So sometimes you might fall into that loop of not being aggressive enough at the plate. Regardless, you want guys in Colorado hitting baseballs at alarming rates, and that's what Nolan Jones is doing. So in the words of the immortal Counting Crows, Mr. Jones and me gonna be big stars. Yeah. You can never have enough starting pitching, so let's add another one this week in Week 10. It's J.P. France of the Houston Astros, rostered in almost 50% of leagues, so you better get on this one. So far, in 5 starts this year, he's 1-1 over 27 innings, 26 strikeouts, 8 walks, a 1.3 whip, and a 4 ERA. So I know what you're saying. Why am I excited about a 4 ERA? Well, he's been limited in some of these starts, too, in terms of pitch count, so he's probably been about a 5-inning guy most of the time out. But J.P. France probably isn't going anywhere for the foreseeable future in this rotation. Lance McCullers re-injured himself on his rehab, so he's not going to be back anytime soon, if at all, in 2023. And the Astros have more than one hole to fill in their rotation, not to mention trade targets like Eduardo Rodriguez of the Detroit Tigers are on the shelf as well. So the Astros are going to have to make do with what they've got. J.P. France is what they've got. And if this offense starts to finally turn things around, J.P. France might be someone who could really be helpful to your rotation in fantasy. Again, a plug-and-play, matchup, 2-start kind of guy who's not going to cost you too much, but it's probably going to make more starts than you realize in the months ahead. So add J.P. France and plant your flag there in the rotation. Last but not least, in those leagues where you got to look for holds and maybe some help with your ratios, what about Ben Joyce, the relief pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, rostered in about 15% of leagues? Now, Ben Joyce made his MLB debut, and it was a pretty good one to start. He's already got 4 strikeouts in his first 2 innings, so he has been absolutely dominant. He's also clocking in at 102. Yes, that's right, 102 miles an hour on that fastball. That is some filthy stuff. Is he going to close? Probably not. It looks like Estevez kind of has that role on lockdown, but if you're looking for some help with your ratios in deeper leagues, if you're looking for some holds in the leagues that reward them, Joyce could be a useful piece for the Angels and your fantasy team in those circumstances. So add this guy because he's going to keep getting opportunities if he keeps throwing balls over 100 miles an hour at the big league level. So there you have it. Those are the names to add in Major League Baseball in Week 10. So I hope you get all of the waiver wire claims that you want. I hope you have plenty of fab to still spend. And obviously, we're going to be back again next week with even more content. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Fantasy Pros MLB. And you might as well join us live, 12:30 Eastern every single day for Leading Off Live with me, Joey P, and the Welsh. And go play some So Rare while you're at it too, fantasypros.com/collect, and join our amazing league as well at fantasypros.com/leadingoffleague. So fun to have this baseball time with you. Thanks for staying with me and talking waiver wire. We hope you come back next week to do it all again. That'll do it for me, Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.